Commander Sarah Chen stared at the blinking red light on her ship's control panel. The small patrol vessel's sensors had picked up something unusual in this empty part of space. She brushed her black hair away from her face and leaned forward, her brown eyes narrowing as she studied the readings. "Computer, what exactly are we looking at?" she asked, tapping her fingers on the armrest of her captain's chair. "Unknown vessel detected. Size, small transport class. No engine activity. No defense systems active. Weak life signs detected." The computer responded in its calm voice. Sarah felt her heart beat faster. In her 5 years of patrolling the outer rim of human space, she had seen many abandoned ships. Most of them were just empty cargo containers or old mining vessels. But life signs meant this was different. "Take us closer," she ordered, and scanned for any other ships in the area. The patrol ship moved smoothly through the darkness of space. As they got closer, Sarah could see the mysterious vessel through the main viewport. It was beautiful in a strange way. Its hull was made of some kind of crystal-like material that sparkled even in the dim light of distant stars. "That's a Zenith ship," Sarah whispered to herself. The Zenith were a species famous for their crystalline technology and bodies. They rarely ventured this far from their own territory. The computer's voice interrupted her thoughts. "Commander, I detect 3 life forms aboard. Signs are weak but stable. Record shows 17 different ships have passed within detection range of this vessel in the past week. None stopped to investigate." Sarah frowned. 17 ships ignored a stranded vessel. That's against basic space law. She stood up and walked to the weapons locker, pulling out a standard-issue stunner. "Just in case. I'm going to check it out. Keep the engines ready for a quick exit if needed." The docking procedure was simple enough. The airlock sealed with a soft hiss, and Sarah stepped into the crystal ship. The interior was cold, and the walls gave off a faint blue glow. Her boots made soft clicking sounds as she walked down the main corridor. She heard something then, a soft whimper coming from the ship's small cargo hold. Sarah approached carefully, her hand near her stunner. The door slid open with a gentle chime. What she saw made her gasp. 3 young Zenith girls huddled together in a corner. Their crystalline bodies, usually bright with inner light, were dim and clouded. The oldest couldn't have been more than 14 in human years. Their faceted eyes widened with fear when they saw Sarah. "It's okay," Sarah said softly, holding up her empty hands. "I'm here to help. I'm human." The youngest girl spoke in broken universal standard. "Others, they came, saw us, left us." Her voice cracked like ice breaking. "Said helping Zenith children. Too risky." Sarah quickly checked the ship's logs. What she found made her angry. The girls were refugees. Their house symbol matched a resistance group fighting against the current Zenith government. Other ships had detected them, but left them to die, because helping them might cause political problems. The oldest girl tried to stand but stumbled. Sarah caught her before she fell. The girl's crystal skin was cold, too cold. They were all sick. "Please," the middle child whispered. "We have nowhere to go." Sarah Chen looked at these 3 abandoned children. She thought about the 17 ships that had passed them by. She thought about her orders to avoid political incidents with alien species. Then she thought about what it meant to be human. She tapped her communication device. "Computer, prepare the medical bay. We're having guests." Sometimes, being human meant breaking the rules to do what was right. Sarah's ship computer beeped loudly as she helped the 3 Zenith girls into her medical bay. "Commander Chen, incoming transmission from Central Command. Priority 1. She made sure the girls were comfortable on the medical beds before answering. The oldest girl grabbed her hand, her crystal fingers trembling. "Don't let them take us back," she whispered. The large screen on the wall lit up, showing Admiral Jackson's stern face. His gray eyebrows were pulled together in a frown. "Commander Chen, what do you think you're doing?" "Saving lives, sir," Sarah replied, standing straight. 3 children were dying in that ship. "Those are Zenith children. The Admiral's voice grew harder. "Do you have any idea what you've done? The Zenith government has labeled their family as criminals. Every species in this sector has strict orders not to interfere." The youngest girl coughed, her crystal body making a sound like breaking glass. The ship's medical scanner showed their body temperatures dropping dangerously low. Sarah knew that in Zenith biology, this was very bad. "Sir, with all respect," Sarah said, "these are children. They're sick and scared." 17 ships ignored them. "I won't be the 18th. Commander, I order you to return them to their ship immediately." The Admiral's face was turning red. "That's a direct order." At that moment, the middle child collapsed, her crystal body starting to crack. The medical computer blared warnings. "Patient critical. Immediate treatment required." Sarah looked at the scared faces of the Zenith girls, then back at the Admiral. She took a deep breath and did something she had never done in her 15 years of service. She reached up and removed her commander's badge. "Sir, if following orders means leaving children to die, then I don't want to follow orders anymore." She placed the badge on the medical console. "I am hereby declaring this a humanitarian emergency mission. Under Earth Convention 147, the protection of children transcends all political boundaries." The Admiral's eyes widened. "Chen, if you do this, your career is over." "Better my career than their lives, sir." Sarah cut the transmission. She turned back to the girls and smiled gently. "Okay, let's get you better." She grabbed medical supplies and started working. The ship's computer helped her understand Zenith biology, and slowly the girls began to stabilize. Hours later, as Sarah was checking their vital signs, the oldest girl spoke. "Why?" she asked. "Why help us when everyone else left us to die?" Sarah sat down beside her bed. "Because I'm human, and humans don't abandon children. Any children, no matter where they're from." Suddenly, her ship's alarms went off again. "Multiple vessels approaching," the computer announced. 3 Zenith warships and 2 Trade Federation cruisers. The girls huddled together in fear. Sarah stood up, her face determined. She might have given up her badge, but she hadn't given up her humanity. "Computer, send out an emergency broadcast to all human colonies and ships in range," she ordered. "Tell them there are 3 sick children who need protection. Tell them what it means to be human." She walked to the command center, her mind already planning how to protect her passengers. The Zenith ships would arrive in 6 hours. She had to find a way to save these girls. Behind her, the crystal children watched with wonder. They had heard stories about humans, about how emotional and unpredictable they were. Now they understood something new about humans. When everyone else would follow cold logic and cruel laws, humans followed their hearts. And sometimes, that made all the difference in the universe. Sarah was checking the medical readings when it happened. The oldest Zenith girl, whose name was Crystal Song, reached out and touched her hand. Suddenly, Sarah's mind filled with images that weren't her own. She saw a beautiful crystal city on the Zenith homeworld. Tall spires reached toward 3 purple moons. But the beauty quickly changed to horror. Armed soldiers with dark crystal armor stormed a house. Crystal Song and her sisters huddled behind their parents as their father. A tall, proud Zenith spoke to a crowd through a communication device. "The council lies," he shouted. "They're selling our people's future. We must stand up." The soldiers broke in. Their mother pushed the girls toward a secret passage. "Run," she whispered. "Find the resistance." The memory changed. The girls were on a small ship, watching their home grow smaller. Behind them, the soldiers' ships opened fire. Their mother's friend, who was piloting their escaped ship, was hit. Her crystal body shattered, but she managed to activate the emergency jump drive before. Sarah pulled her hand back, gasping. "You're not just refugees," she said quietly. "You're the daughters of the resistance leader." The middle sister, Star Whisper, nodded weakly. "Father discovered the council was selling our people's crystal technology to pirates. The pirates use it to raid other species ships. When Father tried to tell everyone, they came for us. The youngest, Moondance, started crying. Her tears looked like tiny diamonds. The council told everyone we were criminals. That's why nobody would help us. They're afraid of making the council angry. Sarah's computer interrupted them. Commander, the Zenith warships are 3 hours away. Trade Federation ships are requesting permission to dock. Denied, Sarah said firmly. She looked at the girls. Why didn't you tell me this before? We were scared, Crystal Song said. The last ship that answered our distress call. They were going to turn us in for the reward. We escaped just in time. Suddenly, Moondance screamed. Her crystal body was developing new cracks. The other sisters weren't looking much better. Sarah rushed to check the medical readings. What she saw made her freeze. The girls weren't just sick. They were dying. The council had put slow-acting crystal decay bombs in their escape ship. Every hour they spent there had poisoned them. But there was something else in the readings, something strange. Your bodies, Sarah said, looking closer at the screen. They're responding to me, to humans. Crystal Song nodded. We feel warmer when you're near. The decay slows down. We don't understand why. Sarah's mind raced. Humans had always been different from other species because of their strong emotions and bioelectric fields. Could that be affecting the Zenith crystal biology? Computer, analyze the interaction between human bioelectric fields and Zenith crystal structures. The computer worked for a moment. Analysis complete. Human emotional energy appears to strengthen Zenith crystal matrices. Prolonged exposure could potentially reverse the decay. Sarah smiled. Sometimes the best weapon against cruelty was simple human kindness. She opened her ship's communication channel. This is Commander Sarah Chen broadcasting to all human ships in range. I have 3 children aboard who need our help. The council tried to kill them to hide their crimes, but we've discovered something. Human presence can heal them. She looked at the scared but hopeful faces of the crystal girls. I'm asking for volunteers. We need human ships, human crews. We need to show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our hearts. The response would change everything. Sarah's message spread across human space like wildfire. Within an hour, her computer couldn't keep up with all the incoming responses. Commander, the computer announced, 47 human ships are changing course to our location. Estimated arrival times between 30 minutes to 2 hours. Crystal Song's dim eyes widened. So many. But why would they come? They don't even know us. Sarah smiled as she checked the girls' medical readings. The decay in their crystal bodies had slowed down since her discovery about human bioelectric fields. That's just how humans are. We can't ignore someone who needs help, especially children. The first human ship arrived 20 minutes later. It was a small medical transport, but its captain didn't hesitate to position his vessel between Sarah's ship and the approaching Zenith warships. This is Captain Rodriguez of the medical ship Hope. A friendly voice came through the communications. We've got 30 human medical staff aboard. Where do you want us, Commander? More ships appeared. Cargo vessels, passenger ships, even a school transport that had been carrying students on a field trip. Each one took up position around Sarah's ship, forming a protective circle. The Zenith warships were now just 1 hour away when something unexpected happened. Sarah's computer picked up a massive signal. Commander, incoming transmission from Earth Central Command. Sarah held her breath as she accepted the call. Instead of angry Admiral Jackson, she saw the face of President Maria Torres of the Human Alliance. Commander Chen, the president said, her voice firm but kind. We've heard about your situation. The council is demanding we hand over the children. They're threatening to cancel all trade agreements with Earth. Sarah started to speak, but the president held up her hand. Let me finish, Commander. We took a vote. Every human colony, every ship captain, every Earth nation. It was unanimous. The president smiled. We're not giving up those children. Earth has formally adopted the Interstellar Child Protection Protocol. We're declaring the protection of all children, regardless of species, as a fundamental human right. Tears ran down Sarah's face as the president continued. The First Fleet is on its way to your position. Until then, hold your ground. Show them what humanity stands for. The transmission ended, and Sarah turned to see the Zenith girls staring at the screen in amazement. Their crystal bodies were glowing brighter, strengthened by the growing human presence around them. 3 Zenith warships approaching, the computer announced. They're charging weapons. But Sarah wasn't worried anymore. Her screen showed over 100 human ships now, all forming a barrier around her vessel. Medical staff were preparing to board to help treat the girls. The ship's communication channel was filled with human voices offering support, sending encouragement, and promising protection. The lead Zenith warship opened a channel. This is Commander Vex of the Zenith Fleet. Surrender the criminals immediately, or we will open fire. Sarah looked at the 3 girls who had been through so much. She thought about their father, fighting for justice. She thought about their mother, sacrificing everything to save them. Then she thought about all the humans who had come to help without even being asked. She opened the channel to respond. Behind her, every human ship did the same. When she spoke, hundreds of human voices spoke with her. We are humanity. These children are under our protection. If you want them, you'll have to go through all of us. The universe held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The standoff between the human fleet and Zenith warships lasted for 10 tense minutes. Commander Vex's voice came through again, but this time it sounded uncertain. You would risk war to protect 3 criminal children. Before Sarah could answer, a new voice joined the channel. Dr. Emily Wang from the medical ship Hope had been studying the readings from the Zenith girls. Commander Vex, I'm sending you medical data. These children were poisoned with crystal decay bombs. This was an attempted murder. The Zenith commander fell silent as he reviewed the data. Meanwhile, Sarah watched in amazement as more human ships arrived. Families had brought their children aboard to help strengthen the healing effect of human bioelectric fields. The medical bay was filling with a soft, warm glow as human doctors and volunteers worked with the girls. Crystal Song's body was starting to shine again. She sat up, stronger than she had been in days. I can feel everyone's emotions, she whispered. So much care, so much love. It's making us stronger. Star Whisper and Moondance were improving too. Their cracked crystal bodies were slowly healing as human children held their hands and told them stories. The human bioelectric field, powered by emotion, was actually repairing their crystal structure. Suddenly, Commander Vex's ship powered down its weapons. We didn't know about the poison, he said slowly. We were told they were dangerous criminals who stole state secrets. The only dangerous criminals, Star Whisper said clearly, her voice stronger now, are the council members who sold our crystal technology to pirates. Our father has proof. Sarah nodded. The girls shared their memories with me. I've seen the evidence. The council tried to kill them to keep their secret deals hidden. The medical bay's monitors beeped as Dr. Wang made another discovery. She rushed to Sarah's side, excited. Commander, look at this. The human bioelectric field isn't just healing them. It's making their crystal matrix stronger than before. They're developing a resistance to crystal decay weapons. Moondance, the youngest sister, started glowing with a new bright light. She reached out and touched the medical bay's screen. Suddenly, every computer in the human fleet received a data burst. All their father's evidence, stored in the girls' crystal memories, now clear and undeniable. Commander Vex received it too. His next words surprised everyone. All Zenith ships, power down weapons. We cannot follow orders to harm children. Not anymore. He paused. Commander Chen, my own daughter is just Moondance's age. How can I face her if I do this? Sarah smiled. Sometimes, being human meant helping others find their humanity too. The next few hours were busy. More human medical ships arrived, their crews working to perfect the healing process. The girls grew stronger by the minute, their bodies glowing with renewed energy. Human children came to play with them. And for the first time in months, the Crystal Sisters laughed. As Sarah watched them play, Dr. Wang approached her. "You know what this means, right? We've discovered that human emotional energy can strengthen and heal zenith crystal structures. This could change everything, not just medicine, but relations between our species." Sarah nodded, watching as Moondance taught a group of human children how to make crystal flowers, while Crystal Song and Star Whisper learned Earth games. "Maybe that's what the galaxy needed all along," Sarah said softly. "A reminder that strength doesn't always come from weapons or power. Sometimes it comes from caring enough to help, even when everyone else looks away." The revolution on the Zenith homeworld was about to begin, but it would start with love, not violence. The news spread across the galaxy faster than a light jump. Videos of human children playing with the Crystal Sisters, healing them with nothing but kindness and care, reached every corner of Zenith space. The Council couldn't stop the truth anymore. Crystal Song stood at the front of Sarah's ship, her body glowing brighter than ever. Through the enhanced telepathic powers that human bioelectric fields had awakened in her, she broadcast her memories to every Zenith citizen. They saw everything. The Council's deals with pirates, the attack on their family, and most importantly, how humans had saved them when no one else would. "Look what they tried to do to children," she said, her voice carried across the stars. "Look how the humans answered our call when everyone else turned away." Star Whisper joined her sister, adding her own memories to the broadcast. "They risked war to protect us. Not because we were important, but because we were children who needed help." On the Zenith homeworld, crowds gathered in the crystal streets. Parents held their children tighter as they watched the evidence of the Council's crimes. Workers in crystal mines stopped their work. Soldiers looked at their weapons and remembered their own families. Commander Vex, who had chosen to stay with the human fleet, opened a channel to his homeworld. "My fellow Zenith, I was ordered to capture these children. But humans taught me something important today. Following orders doesn't make you right. Protecting the innocent does." Sarah watched from her command chair as reports came in from across Zenith space. Crystal cities were lighting up with protest. The resistance, led by the girl's father, was growing stronger by the minute. But there was no violence. Instead, inspired by humanity's example, they were using peaceful methods. Moondance, now fully healed, tugged at Sarah's sleeve. "Sarah, look." She pointed at the scanner. Thousands of Zenith ships were powering down their weapons. Military commanders were refusing to fight their own people. The Council made one last desperate move. They threatened to use crystal decay weapons on the protesters. But their threat backfired. Dr. Wang's research, showing how human emotional energy could protect against such weapons, had already spread. The Council had lost their most powerful weapon. Fear. "Commander," Sarah's computer announced, "incoming transmission from the Zenith capital." The screen showed a huge crowd outside the Council chambers. The girl's father stood at the front, his crystal form shining. Behind him were hundreds of Zenith children, all holding hands with human children who had come with their parents to help. "The Council has surrendered," he announced, his voice full of emotion. "They're being arrested right now. But this victory doesn't belong to the resistance alone." He looked directly at the camera. "It belongs to humanity, who showed us a better way, who taught us that true strength comes from protecting others, not controlling them through fear." Sarah felt tears in her eyes as Crystal Song, Star Whisper, and Moondance hugged her tightly. Their crystal bodies harmonized with her human bioelectric field, creating a beautiful rainbow of colors. "What happens now?" Moondance asked softly. Sarah smiled. "Now we build something new. Together." Already, plans were being made. Human medical ships would help heal any Zenith harmed by crystal decay weapons. Zenith cities would open their doors to human visitors, allowing their natural energy to strengthen the crystal structures. And most importantly, a new law was being written, one that would protect all children, regardless of species. The galaxy was changing, not through war or force, but through the simple act of humans being human, of caring when no one else would, of doing what was right when everyone else looked away. Sometimes the biggest revolutions start with the smallest acts of kindness. 1 year had passed since the day Sarah Chen found 3 dying crystal girls in an abandoned ship. Now she stood in the Grand Crystal Hall of the new Zenith Human Academy, watching as hundreds of students from both species learned together. Crystal Song, now a teacher at the academy, was showing a group of human children how to grow crystal flowers. Her body glowed with health, strengthened by daily interaction with humans. The secret, she told her students, is to feel the joy in your heart and let it flow into the crystal. In another corner, Star Whisper worked with Dr. Wang, researching new ways to use the human-Zenith connection. They had already developed healing centers where human emotional energy helped sick Zenith recover. Who would have thought, Star Whisper said, smiling, that human feelings would turn out to be the most powerful medicine in the galaxy. Moondance, the youngest sister, ran up to Sarah and hugged her. Sarah, my father wants to show you something. She pulled Sarah toward the academy's main hall, where the girl's father, now the elected leader of the Zenith people, was waiting. He gestured to a new crystal wall being installed. As Sarah watched, it lit up with images. The moment she found the girls, the human fleet protecting them, children from both species playing together. We call it the Wall of Change, he explained. It reminds us that the biggest changes often start with one person choosing to do what's right. Sarah noticed something interesting about the wall. The crystals. They're different somehow. They're infused with human bioelectric patterns, Moondance explained proudly. Now they'll stay strong forever, just like the friendship between our people. Suddenly, everyone's attention turned to the sky. Through the crystal dome of the academy, they could see ships arriving. But not just any ships. These were the same vessels that had once ignored the girls' distress call. Now they were bringing students and diplomats, eager to learn from the Human Zenith Alliance. Admiral Jackson, who had once ordered Sarah to abandon the girls, stood nearby. I was wrong, he admitted quietly. I thought following rules was more important than doing what's right. You taught us all a better way, Commander Chen. Sarah smiled at her restored rank insignia. After the truth came out, she had been promoted instead of punished. But the real reward was seeing the changes around her. The Trade Federation had adopted new laws, making it illegal to ignore distress calls from any ship carrying children. The Interstellar Child Protection Protocol, started by humanity's example, was now supported by 15 different species, and every day, more Zenith children came to Earth to study, while human children visited the crystal cities. Crystal Song approached with tears in her eyes. Do you ever think about that day, when you were the only one who stopped to help us? Sarah looked around at what that one decision had created. A new academy, new friendships, new understanding between species. I just did what any human would do, she said softly. And that's why you humans are special. Star Whisper added, joining them. You feel first and think later. Other species called it weakness, but now we know it's your greatest strength. As if to prove her point, a small human girl nearby started crying because she couldn't grow a crystal flower. Immediately, both human and Zenith children rushed to comfort her. The crystal she had been trying to grow suddenly sparked to life, powered by their combined care and concern. Sarah watched them with pride. The galaxy had changed because one human refused to abandon 3 alien children. Sometimes the most human thing you can do is simply care. And that changes everything.